Hey, what's going on, you guys? I've really been wanting to make this video for a week now. If you've been following my posts, you'll see that I purchased a Glock 44 a week ago, and 56 rounds in, it completely failed. The extractor blew out, the frame cracked. Um, it completely just failed. So at the time, I was running MagTech 40 grain, just standard velocity, real generic stuff. I've ran that ammunition through my Mark IV, SR22, 1022. I mean, variety of firearms, and I've never had issues with it. So I was hard pressed to believe that that was the cause of the failure. Regardless, I reached out to Glock, and immediately they took an interest in the issue. They sent me a shipping label, and the day I sent off my gun was a Wednesday. 1 week from then, which is Wednesday today, I received my new one in the mail. So they replaced it right away. The whole process was pretty quick, and everyone I talked to was really nice about it. They were kind. They wanted to make sure everyone was okay, and they were curious about what happened. But during the time that I was waiting, I was trying to figure out, do I want to keep this, once I get a new one? Do I want to risk, another failure? And I decided, once I get this one, I really wanted to put it through the gauntlet, and my choice was to put 1,000 rounds of various ammunition, grains, and and see how it performed, and then make my decision from there. So let's just jump in. Make sure it's empty. So I took it out to the range today, and we started with just this Aguila 40 grain copper plated, and this is what I had the most issues with, which was surprising. Most people I've talked to have said that 36 grain ammunition will not function in the Glock 44. So to see issues with this was interesting. 50 rounds in, I had 7 issues, which were light primer strikes. So is it the ammunition necessarily? I don't think so. It's it points more towards the firing pin, or something internally of the firearm. So I'll have to dig into that and see what's going on. Next, I ran American Eagle, just a standard red box, 38 grain, and I ran 80 rounds, and it functioned flawlessly. So that was good to see. After that, I was really curious if I could make it malfunction, and I ran generic bulk 36 grain federal ammunition, copper plated. This is the stuff that most have said will fail. It'll nosedive in your feed ramp. It just won't. You'll get failure to extract. It's just not enough power to cycle the slide. And I ran 80 rounds of this, and it functioned flawlessly. So that was interesting, but I was happy. After that, we jumped to Remington Gold Bullet. This was 40 grain ammunition, 100 rounds of that, and I only had 1 light primer strike. Otherwise, it performed and it functioned, which was awesome. Jumped to Remington Target ammunition, 40 grain, standard velocity, 100 rounds of that, and that functioned flawlessly as well. So that was nice to see. Next, this was the most recommended CCI mini mag. Most people have told me, if you're gonna buy a Glock 44, you have to run CCI. If you don't, you're just gonna experience failures, which so far, wasn't my experience, which was really nice to see. 200 rounds of CCI mini mag, and no failures. So that was expected, which was nice. Next, Federal 40 grain lead round nose, just your standard bulk ammunition. I did 240 rounds of this with only 1 malfunction, light primer strike. So that was nice. And my personal favorite, the last one, Winchester M22. This is typically what I'll run in most of my platforms. I've had good luck with it. It's decently inexpensive where I live, and 250 rounds gave me 5 malfunctions, all light primer strikes. So that was interesting. To this point, it's gonna be, in my opinion, an issue with the firearm. but I haven't taken it down since I got it back from the range. I wanted to, get back and give everybody an update as to how it went. So it's dirty. Obviously, it's going to be dirty, but it's a feed ramp. I was shocked, that I had no failure to feed, to extract, given everybody else's input who owned one. Some people have said if you load the magazines to their full capacity of 10, you will experience issues. Whether it's the first round or the last round, the way they stack, some have said that it does not function. 1,000 rounds using all 4 magazines, and these are all factory Glock magazines. Zero issues feeding and cycling. So that was good to see. The gun is dirty. They obviously use a lot of copper anti-seize on here. At one point, it kind of just started weeping out through the rails, but the frame is intact. The gun did cycle. And I guess the question is, am I going to keep it? Am I going to keep the Glock 44, given that I have, other 22 platforms to choose from? I am. And the reason why is it is comfortable. It is nice to have a Glock 19 platform in a 22 caliber. It gives you a similar experience to train with. Obviously your recoil is different, and there's slight variations to it, but overall, once you get on the range, the magazines are the same exact size as a Glock 19, so the feel is familiar. You recognize the grip. And I take a lot of friends out. I take a lot of first-time shooters. My fiance recently is into it, and that was kind of the purpose behind this. I wanted to have a beginner-friendly gun. Typically, it was my Mark IV that I would bring out, but some have said it's a little too heavy, it's a little too uncomfortable. So this I got really excited about. So, I am going to keep it. I am going to run it some more, keep testing ammunition, and see how it does. I'm going to look into the trigger and see if it's not resetting correctly or if it's binding up. I'll also take down the firing pin as well and see if it's gunked up or something is going on. But I am surprised that I had zero failure to feed, zero failure to extract, given everybody else's experience with them. So over 1,000 rounds, given the malfunctions, I'm gonna hang on to it. And if you're interested in it, I say get it. And if you have a failure, if you have an issue, I don't hesitate at all in saying that Glock will take care of it, and that's through experience. So thanks guys for following.